The 2005-2006 season looked to be the season where Messi would shine in the European stage, but there were some hiccups on the way. The Argentine national team coach Jose Pekerman wanted to reward Messi for his fantastic performance in the summer with the senior debut against Hungary in a friendly match in August of 2005. But his first appearance with the national team didn't go as planned.
Et carton rouge pour Messi. Oh là là, ah bon, on l'a pas beaucoup vu à l'œuvre.
Shortly after, the Spanish Football Federation suddenly classified Messi as a foreign non-European player despite him completing the required 5 seasons in the lower ranks of the club. With Ronaldinho, Marquez and Eto'o being a fixture in the starting lineup, Barcelona had maxed out on non-European players. What's funny was that Messi was registered in the final squad of the Champions League without any complications with UEFA. Thus came the idea of loaning out Messi by the Barca board, as there were some offers on the table, the most serious one coming from Inter Milan and their president Massimo Moratti. But one match changed all of these plans, which was the Joan Gamper Trophy against Italian giants Juventus. With the presence of big stars and under the guidance of legendary manager Fabio Capello, Rijkaard thought that this was the golden chance for Messi to demonstrate his talents.
Cercano di bloccarlo, Cannavaro per sotto, numero da parte di Messi. C'è la trattenuta da parte di Balzaretti, Messi è andato via, manca Vieira, si ferma.
Messi was subbed with a minute left as he received a standing ovation from the Camp Nou. Capello was amazed and said after the match,
Yo creo que nunca he visto un jugador con tanta calidad por la edad que tiene, con personalidad, velocidad, tiene todo, me encantó.
Capello's words were important as it put Messi on the European map because Capello was not the kind of manager that gives compliments easily. And here came the official offer from Moratti. Messi's father Jorge discussed the offer with Laporta and mentioned that Inter were ready to offer 3 times Lionel's current salary. But Laporta managed to calm him down and told Jorge that Lionel was in the best footballing situation and the style at Barca suits him well and will help him develop in the long run. The issue dragged on for a couple of weeks and Messi was still unable to feature in La Liga. Despite Rijkaard still using him in the Champions League, the issue was complicated, but in the end, a solution was drafted. Messi signed a new contract with Barcelona, his 4th in the last 18 months. And finally, in September of 2005, Lionel acquired the Spanish nationality. And after missing 6 matches in the league, Messi was finally ready to participate. Messi quickly took Juli's place on the right of the trio up front and surprisingly started the Clásico at the Santiago Bernabeu as Barca won by 3-0 against Madrid. He scored his first Champions League goal against Panathinaikos and scored his first league goal that season against Racing in a way that would be repeated many times in his career.
Every goal's a gem for Barcelona.
And in December he won the Golden Boy Award, beating Wayne Rooney by a big margin. Digging deeper into the archives of the season, we can notice Messi's talents at only 18 years old. From that age, he had the ability to change his pace quickly, dribble past numerous defenders in seconds, was always direct in his playstyle, and always looked to attack and score. Messi also lacked the full vision to find good passes, he lacked physical strength, and also lacked the quickness in making decisions when receiving the ball, and always looks to dribble a lot at any chance. He was mostly playing on his talents and natural abilities, but it was obvious that he was taking the right steps on the right trajectory. When Barcelona faced Chelsea in the round of 16 of the Champions League, Messi showed his impact on the pitch. Seeing as it was a sensitive match between the two sides after numerous close encounters in the previous seasons, the atmosphere inside Stamford Bridge was very tense. From the poor pitch conditions to the aggressiveness of the opponent, all factors pointed to Messi having a poor showing. But the 18-year-old was fantastic and managed to get Del Horno sent off and introduced himself to the English and European fans.
I get the feeling that he learns this game a bit more, he'll be unplayable at times.
Barcelona drew the second leg, but it came at a cost as Messi had torn his thigh muscles and was out for a few weeks. He came back to training a week before the semi-final first leg in the Champions League and was eager to quickly come back, but that eagerness had caused him to injure his thigh muscles again. Following that, Messi was back in training 2 days before the Champions League final, but Rijkaard and his assistant Ten Kat thought that Messi was not ready. That decision was devastating for the Argentine, but the truth was that Lionel failed to understand the limits of his body and watched as Barcelona won the Champions League final from the stands. Initially, Messi refused to celebrate with his teammates, but he eventually came out of that dark place and had some fun with the team. Silvinho mentioned that Messi had told him in the locker room that he could never play in a European final in the next 10 years. That was Messi's mature mindset from that young age. Barcelona won the league and European double, as Messi played in 25 matches in all competitions and managed to score 8 goals. What's more important than these goals was his impact on the pitch at that young age. After his catastrophic debut with the national team, Messi became a regular within Jose Pekerman's squad that succeeded in qualifying to the World Cup in Germany. Despite his injury and his absence from the Champions League final, Lionel was selected for the final Argentinian squad. From very early on, the president of the Argentine Football Federation, Julio Grondona, saw Messi as the future of the national team. He had just signed with Adidas before the tournament, and there were huge posters of Messi around the biggest cities of the world. That was not to everybody's taste within the squad, as there was a divide between the past and the future, between the old guard and the new blood. Nevertheless, Argentina won their first group match against Ivory Coast unconvincingly, as the manager left Messi on the bench for the whole match. The next encounter saw Messi's debut in the World Cup, as he entered in the last 15 minutes of the second group match against Serbia and Montenegro. Messi managed to assist Crespo and score a goal himself. As the match concluded, Argentina won by 6-0. In the following match, Messi played 70 minutes against the Netherlands, as the goalless draw was enough for Argentina to qualify to the next round. Then Messi entered in the 84th minute against Mexico and showed a taste of his talents in extra time, as the Albiceleste succeeded in advancing to the next round.
Fantastic goal by Maxi Rodriguez!
Leo's displays within the tournament didn't go unnoticed for Guardiola, who was writing articles for El País and said about Messi in one of his articles, "He reminds me of the true greats." And now comes the controversial match, the quarter-final against the German national team. Tevez and Crespo started up front while Messi was on the bench. It was a natural selection at that time. After Ayala opened the scoring for Argentina, the hosts started to push upfield in the second half. Then the Argentine keeper got injured as Pekerman was forced to make a change. He also subbed Riquelme for Cambiaso. But the third and final change was the one that created controversy. In hindsight, everything pointed to Messi coming on to pressure Germany's high line. But Pekerman thought he needed a tall striker that can defend set pieces. For that reason, Julio Cruz was called as Messi removed his shoes on the bench. The Germans succeeded in equalizing and then won on penalties, as Pekerman faced harsh criticism after their exit. But his assistant Hugo Tocali defended him and said if the match were to be repeated, we would do exactly the same. Messi was only a teenager and didn't have enough experience, and it's easy to say that the coaching staff was wrong. But one thing was for sure, as Mascherano said, the debate ended after that World Cup. Leo was an automatic starter after that. Despite the success of last season, there were some internal issues brewing within Barcelona's dressing room. The discipline of the team's leaders like Deco and Ronaldinho started to fade, while on the other hand, Messi was looking to improve and rise within the hierarchy of the team. But he unfortunately fractured his left foot in November and was out of action for over 2 months. Lionel came back to a team that kept failing in big matches. He came back just in time for the round of 16 Champions League encounter against Liverpool. Reds manager Rafa Benitez decided to play the right-footed Arbeloa as a left-back to cover Messi's diagonal runs through the middle, and the plan was effective, as Messi barely had a stamp on the 2 legs, as Liverpool qualified to the next round at the expense of the Blaugrana.
Liverpool have done it!
In March, another opportunity arose for Messi to shine in a big match, as Barcelona hosted rivals Real Madrid in the Camp Nou. At that time, Messi was still not clinical in front of goal and missed many chances. But in that Clásico, it was a different story.
ese balón, de Messi, Messi,
Despite the ineffectiveness of Ronaldinho and Eto'o being subbed at halftime after Oliveira's red card, Messi led the team and scored a hat-trick to earn Barcelona a precious draw, a landmark match for the young Argentinian. Samuel Eto'o said after the match, "For me today, Messi is above any other player. He has an extra gear." When we look closer into Messi's minutes within the season, we can notice that he still played as he always does, trying to take on defenders,
If there's four of them in front of him, he's prepared to take everybody on.
dribbling,
After a brilliant piece of skill from Lionel Messi.
great change of pace.
Messi, brilliantly away from Garrido.
What was missing that season was some end product because of his deep positioning when receiving passes on the right side of the pitch.
Alves again, sticking tight to Messi.
Although his physical development was obvious.
Well, the hold off Daniel Alves, Lionel Messi, and
Messi was rewarded with a new contract in March of 2007 and managed to show his great ability in dribbling once again in the Copa del Rey semi-final first leg against Getafe.
Para Messi, immens Messi, encara 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 Messi, gol.
Fans started to seriously think of an answer to the question, can we survive without Ronaldinho? And the answer, as Messi demonstrated, may be yes. But despite the brilliance of the goal, Rijkaard advised Messi to not take on defenders all the time. He had to pace himself and make the difference in the final third. And since that goal, defenders around the league started to tightly mark Lionel. But Barcelona were in danger of ending the season without a title after Rijkaard decided to not play Messi in the second leg against Getafe, given that Barca won the first leg by 5-2. But the Blaugranas suffered a humiliating loss by 4-0, which kicked them out of the competition. In the league, Barcelona entered the penultimate match against Espanyol with the La Liga title within their hands. And despite Messi's fantastic performance, which included him scoring 2 goals, one of which was controversial,
Lionel absolutely handles this. It cheated and it succeeded.
Barca failed to seal the match after a dramatic draw against their neighbors, which resulted in Madrid clinching the title after their win in the last match. In terms of numbers, this was considered Messi's best season yet, as he managed to score 14 goals in La Liga and 17 goals in 36 matches in all competitions. But in terms of achievements, and apart from the Supercopa, Barcelona ended the season without a title, and getting rid of Ronaldinho and Rijkaard was considered. But the board, along with President Laporta, decided to hand them one last chance, despite the Dutch manager losing the dressing room completely. Messi joined the Argentine national team to compete in the 2007 Copa America tournament in the summer. 14 years after their last major title in 1993, Argentina entered this iteration as favorites. There were no doubts that Messi was one of the main key figures of the national squad. And after passing the group stage with ease, Argentina faced Peru in the quarter-final stage. Messi played a great match, either on the right or the left flank. Messi was dribbling past the Peruvian defenders with ease and scored a great goal between the legs of the Peruvian keeper.
ball through Messi, wonderful play.
In the semi-final against Mexico, Messi scored the goal of the tournament,
It's Messi, simply magnificent.
as Argentina easily won by 3-0 to advance to the Copa America final. Argentina head coach Coco Basile praised Messi's goal and said, "Only geniuses are capable of finishing as Messi did." Argentina faced eternal rivals Brazil in the final. The Brazilians arrived to the tournament without some key players like Ronaldinho and Kaká. It was shaping to be Albiceleste's title as they won everyone over. But against expectations, Argentina were comprehensively beaten by 3-0.
Ele contra o Ajala, pé direito, bateu!
Messi was not considered the scapegoat for this failure, as he just turned 20 a few weeks earlier at that time. But most of the blame and criticism was aimed towards Riquelme's shoulders, who never really recovered from that loss, as his professional career took a very different path. The 2007-2008 season was the season of second chances for Barcelona. Ronaldinho asked for another year to get back to form, while Rijkaard insisted on stopping the team's downward spiral. The club also signed 30-year-old French superstar Thierry Henry, Ronaldinho, Eto'o, Messi, and Henry all in the same team. But in the end, they failed to play a single minute together on the pitch throughout the whole season, as numerous injuries and other disciplinary issues robbed them of a good season. Frank Rijkaard failed to change the dynamics of the team, as the club suffered in the opening months, as it became obvious that they can't compete with Madrid, as they suffered a loss in the first Clásico in December, as Madrid created a marginal gap in the standings. Rijkaard was too nice with the players and failed to officially hand the keys of the team to Messi, who showed everybody that he was the #1 star of the team. The Argentinian was asked to be patient and cause damage on the wings. While Messi was turning from a teenager to a man, his body started to negatively react with these drastic changes. 3 separate injuries within the season affected the Argentinian mentally, as these injuries made him miss around 2.5 months in total. He was putting too much pressure on his body throughout the season, just like he did when he was a kid. He also came back from injuries way too soon, and his diet was not helping as well. Although when he played, he was no doubt one of the best in the world.
This is a genius. Henry, Messi. Magical!
Although he was still stuck on the wings in most matches, he tried drifting more to the center within games and tried to create from there.
Messi, it's a great pass.
He started the season exceptionally well, as Messi was scoring and even assisting at a very good rate before his first injury. And that is what he added that season, creating more for his teammates.
Listen, that's a great ball. And onside here, Eto'o!
And after all his performances in 2007, he came in 3rd place behind Ronaldo and Kaká in the Ballon d'Or voting. That season saw the first official encounter between Ronaldo and Messi in the Champions League semi-final stage. Although it was quite an uneventful 2 legs in terms of goals, the Argentinian had a slight upper hand.
Lionel Messi needed the save from Van der Sar.
In the end, Barcelona lost the 2nd leg against United at Old Trafford.
What about that? What about that?
Barcelona were also out of the same stage in the Copa del Rey and were way off the top of the La Liga standings and ended the season in 3rd position. On the other hand, Messi had another great season, as he scored and assisted 16 goals in 40 matches in all competitions. He added the skill of assisting to his footballing repertoire. The old guard of Deco, Ronaldinho, Eto'o, and Rijkaard look to have their days numbered in Barcelona. But despite that, we must not forget Rijkaard and Ronaldinho's influence on Messi. They gave the young Argentinian the needed space to learn, develop, and grow, as Ronaldinho was beside Messi since he joined the first team. But the Brazilians' issues these past 2 seasons were affecting the dynamic of the whole team, and people started to really question whether Ronaldinho was considered a bad idol for Messi. It was time he left, and time for Messi to wear the number 10 shirt on his back and lift the team on his shoulders. It was time for a new chapter for Barcelona and Messi.